On the afternoon of Thursday, the 15th of January 2026, an unprecedented scene unfolded at the White House. Venezuelan María Corina Machado, announced as laureate of the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize, claimed to have physically handed over the prize medal to President Donald Trump during a private meeting in the Oval Office. This is no ordinary ceremonial event. It is a situation that exposes fundamental tensions between what American institutions can accept internationally, what diplomatic precedents allow, and where the limits lie between presidential foreign policy and established protocols of international recognition. Because ultimately, we are not talking about a medal. We are talking about who can offer influence to the president and how the Constitution reacts when this happens in public. The image of Machado leaving the White House and declaring to reporters that she handed over the prize to Trump represents more than a diplomatic gesture. It reveals how American power structures operate when confronted by situations that test unwritten boundaries between presidential authority and institutional systems that maintain independence from the United States. On the 10th of October, 2025, the Norwegian Nobel Committee announced María Corina Machado as winner of the Peace Prize. The official justification cited her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. The choice generated immediate controversy. The Norwegian Nobel Institute began an investigation into a possible internal leak after Norwegian newspapers reported that online betting odds skyrocketed within hours the night before the announcement. Now, attention to the crucial detail. Immediately after the announcement, Machado made an unprecedented decision. She publicly dedicated the prize, both to the suffering Venezuelan people and to President Trump for his decisive support of our cause. This dual dedication established from the beginning a dynamic that challenges conventional protocols about how Nobel laureates treat their prizes. Machado, who had been hiding in Venezuela for more than a year due to a government travel ban and risk of arrest, according to international press reports, left the country by means not officially disclosed to reach Oslo. On the 10th of December 2025, during the Nobel ceremony in Oslo, Machado did not appear in person. Her daughter, Ana Karina Sosa Machado, accepted the prize on her behalf and delivered a speech written by her mother. The speech covered Venezuela's history from independence to today, focusing on the dismantling of democracy by Hugo Chavez and Nicolás Maduro. Machado arrived in Oslo only late at night after the ceremony, being received by crowds at the Grand Hotel. During a press conference on December 11, she promised to return to Venezuela to end this tyranny very soon and have a free Venezuela. Machado also expressed support for the Trump administration's efforts to oust Maduro. And this is where the problem changes level. On the 3rd of January 2026, according to Trump administration statements, American forces allegedly captured Nicolás Maduro in a military operation on Venezuelan territory. So far, details remain disputed and interpreted differently by official sources and international press. Maduro reportedly awaits trial in New York on drug trafficking charges. This alleged military operation marked significant escalation beyond the series of recent attacks on vessels in the Caribbean, which were classified as possibly illegal by critics and experts cited by international press. Trump's decision to allow Maduro's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, to assume control surprised many frustrating opposition hopes for a new democratic era. On January 8, during an interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity, Machado publicly floated the idea of giving her prize to Trump. I would certainly love to be able to personally tell him that we believe the Venezuelan people, because this is a prize of the Venezuelan people, certainly want to give it to him and share it with him, she declared. On January 11, the Norwegian Nobel Institute responded categorically. Once a Nobel Prize is announced, it cannot be revoked, shared, or transferred to others. The decision is final and stands for all time. The Institute posted on social media that a medal can change owners, but the title of Nobel Peace Prize laureate cannot. Today, during a private meeting in the Oval Office, according to Machado's own statements to reporters, she allegedly physically handed over the medal to Trump The president, questioned by reporters about accepting the award, said only that the meeting was great, without confirming whether he accepted the physical medal. Machado, upon leaving the White House, told reporters, 200 years ago, General Lafayette gave Simon Bolivar a medal with George Washington's face. Bolivar kept that medal for the rest of his life. Bolivar's people are returning to Washington's heir a medal, in this case a Nobel Peace Prize medal, as recognition for his unique commitment to our freedom. Here enters the legal foundation. Trump's situation of potentially accepting Machado's medal directly invokes the Foreign Emoluments Clause of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8, which states, "No person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever, from any king, prince, or foreign state." This clause was included in the Constitution to protect against foreign corruption and influence. Edmund Jennings Randolph, one of the framers, observed at the Virginia Ratifying Convention that the clause protected against the danger of the president receiving emoluments from foreign powers. Now, the historical precedents. History offers several precedents for how American presidents have handled foreign gifts. The Department of Justice Office of Legal Counsel has developed a body of opinions on the emoluments clauses over the decades. The foundational precedent involved King Louis XVI of France gifting an opulent snuff box to Benjamin Franklin in 1778. Concerned that receiving this gift would be perceived as corrupting, Franklin sought and received congressional approval to keep the gift. When Simón Bolívar presented President Andrew Jackson with a gold medal in 1830, Jackson sought permission from Congress. Congress refused, so Jackson deposited the medal with the Department of State, declaring that the Constitution prohibited his acceptance. When Obama won the Nobel Prize in 2009, he asked whether he could accept the cash award. The Office of Legal Counsel concluded yes, because it is awarded by a private organization, not a foreign government. And here is the crucial point. The current situation is unprecedented. Previous cases involved direct gifts from foreign governments or prizes given to the presidents themselves. This case involves a prize from a private organization being transferred by a foreign individual to a president who did not originally receive the award. This situation creates a constitutional gray zone where several questions converge: source of the prize, transfer versus original receipt, and symbolic versus official recognition. The case also raises questions about American political pressure on independent foreign institutions. Trump has publicly declared that he deserves the Nobel, and the White House criticized the Norwegian Nobel Committee for putting politics over peace. The Norwegian Nobel Institute responded firmly that prizes cannot be transferred, an attempt to maintain institutional integrity against unprecedented political pressure. Attention to the fundamental differences. Previous emoluments cases involved private diplomatic exchanges. This case unfolds entirely in public. Unlike historical cases involving ceremonial gifts, this situation intertwines with alleged active military operations, and the modern media environment means every development receives immediate international attention. If Trump keeps the medal without congressional consent, it could establish dangerous precedents for future administrations. Conversely, if the White House formally returns the medal, it could strengthen constitutional limits, but harm relations with Machado. Relations with Norway, a NATO member, may be affected. Within Venezuelan politics, this highlights how Trump marginalizes Machado despite her praise for him. Let's examine the real possibilities. Trump could keep the medal physically without claiming the title, preserving political value, but creating questionable constitutional precedent. Trump could formally seek congressional consent, strengthening constitutional precedents, but risking political rejection. The White House could return the medal to the Norwegian Nobel Institute, legally sound but politically costly. Trump could openly claim Nobel recognition, significantly escalating diplomatic tensions. Or congressional Democrats could mount a legal challenge, forcing unprecedented judicial interpretation. Official White House statements about the medal's status will be crucial to watch. Congressional reactions about potential constitutional violations. Norwegian government response about pressure on their institutions. Additional actions by the Norwegian Nobel Institute. and broader Venezuelan political dynamics. This situation reveals fundamental tensions about how American democratic institutions operate when confronted by challenges that the current legal framework did not anticipate. The Emoluments Clause represents one of the oldest anti-corruption safeguards in American constitutional law. The precedent established here will influence how future administrations navigate the increasingly complex intersection of domestic politics, international relations, and institutional boundaries. The central question remains: under what circumstances can American presidents accept international recognition they did not officially receive? And what precedents does this establish for the intersection of domestic politics and international institutional integrity? This question matters because the answer will influence how future presidents approach international recognition, how foreign entities attempt to influence American policy, and how constitutional boundaries adapt to address scenarios the framers did not anticipate. Now, let's separate what we know from what we are interpreting. The facts here are the public statements and institutional reactions. What we are doing now is interpreting the impact, the precedent this could create. This unprecedented situation exposes gaps in the existing constitutional framework while testing the resilience of international institutions designed to operate independently of political pressure. How all parties navigate these complexities in the coming days will establish precedents that extend far beyond a single diplomatic gesture. The resolution will reveal whether American constitutional safeguards can adapt to address modern forms of foreign influence, and whether international institutions can maintain integrity when confronted by sustained political pressure from major powers. For American democracy, what is at stake involves the continued effectiveness of one of its oldest anti-corruption mechanisms in an era where traditional boundaries between domestic and international politics increasingly blur.